My mom went berserk on me for helping my brother. By user sorry comment 9505. Today, my brother came into my room to help him with Minecraft for the Switch. I could find out how to fix the issue. None of the buttons were working, so I had to close the app and reopen it. As I reopen it, my little impatient brother demands it back. Funnily enough, he doesn't know how to navigate the menu. So I politely tell him that I've got to open his world and see if they would work. He shouts at me to give it back. Then my POS mother walks into my room demanding I never help him again. I, knowing she's overreacting, give it back, telling him I happily fixed it, while trying to seem nice so the overreactor doesn't get even more pissed off. Before little POS brother leaves, I tell him that he should let the Switch charge. It was at 17% battery. This causes my mom to go berserk. She proceeds to tell me that no one will ever like my help and I should never interact with him again. I tell her not to worry about that, as I don't appreciate either of their attitudes towards someone who wanted to help. Mom grounds me and slams my door on the way out. Dad told my sister, who told my mom remarried, who told me that he is planning to visit us and stay in our tiny apartment during a very busy time. This is the first I am hearing of it. By user Evermore 1989. Context: my 29F father is in and out of my life, depending on his mental health and his mood. There have been repeated no contact periods when boundaries are crossed, but we are generally in a good place with a phone call monthly, frequent hope you read good love you texts. He is dating a really awful woman, but my husband and I don't let it bother us and choose a relationship with him with boundaries, regardless. But she has not been invited to our home in over 4 years since a pretty major incident went down. We moved a 15-hour car ride away a few months ago, but previous to this we maybe see him twice a year. Anyway, my mother and her partner drove out to see us and told us that my sister told them that my dad expressed that he was coming to our town for a specific event I have going on and that he and his girlfriend would just stay with us for a few days. This is the first I heard of it, other than my dad asking casually, "Sir, how do we get tickets for X event?" Which is obviously not a "hey, can we come?" and when, and by the way, can we stay in your tiny apartment that you also WFH'in'. Part of me wants to get ahead of it. My husband and I moved so far away in part to make navigating our difficult families a little simpler, or so we thought, so this is a major red flag for me. Should I ask him about it now, or wait a few weeks and see if it even materializes further? This is apparently for the last weekend of November. I don't want to hurt his feelings, but I also know that hosting him during the time won't work for me, and he definitely is not welcome to stay in our home. Thanks in advance. Parents at Comic-Con telling me and other lay cosplayers shame on us for our costumes. By user GoddessVikingJT6. I've been to several Comic-Cons and have never had anyone say anything negative about any costume I've worn. Today I picked my lay cosplay of the costume she wore in Return of the Jedi when she was captured by Jabba the Hutt, which never had any issues before, and if you've ever been to a Comic-Con, it is a costume anywhere. Walking around with my husband and my friends, a little kid no more than 4 was walking by with his parents, says, "This woman is half naked." I don't think anything of it because the costume is exactly how Leia looked in the movie. The mother catches up to me and says, "How dare you wear that? There's kids here." I notice her cross around her neck and I simply say, "Clearly you've never seen Return of the Jedi. This costume is perfectly allowed, plus I am not the only one wearing a cosplay like this." She tells me she doesn't watch movies with sorcery or witchcraft, and I am the 6th person she has seen in the costume, as well. She plans to contact the con when she gets home to tell people the costume should be banned. I told her the con will tell her to mind her own business and that as long as the costume isn't revealing anything it shouldn't, then the costume is perfectly fine to wear. She then storms off, shielding her kid's eyes. Something tells me she will contact the con, but they're definitely going to tell her what I told her about how as long as I didn't show anything I shouldn't, I am perfectly fine to wear my costume, and because she doesn't have any proof of how my cosplay looks. My kids want to ride your horses. By user the lingerie cowgirl. This was a few years back now. I rented a small block of land just outside town to keep my horses on it. Horses were uncommon in the area, but also there were a lot of residential areas around, so sometimes I would turn up to my pasture and people would be there with their children petting the horses over the fence. Didn't bother me as both of my horses were pretty nice and polite to pet. One day I was out there just doing chores, weeding, cleaning, fixing fences, etc., normal horse stuff. I had my headphones in and I am working away when I hear shouting. I look over to the gate by the road and I see a man and two young girls there 7-5ish beckoning me over. I walk over, assuming they want to pat and maybe feed a carrot to the horses. I say hello and the first thing he said was, "My kids want to ride your horses." Not even can my kids ride you horses? Nope. 1. For reference, my horses were an ex-racehorse who was still learning where the off button was, and a very large, very strong dressage horse who was highly trained and also very highly strung. So safe to say, even if I wanted to let the kids ride, these horses were not child safe. I explained this to him, plus that I didn't have any of my riding gear with me as I hadn't planned on riding that day. The dad just rolled his eyes and goes, "That's not that hard, just put them on the horse and lead them around," before trying to open the gate to let his daughters in. Lucky for me, I always kept the gate padlocked as it led to a busy road and I didn't want the horses getting out. I again explained that I couldn't ride my horses and he was better off looking up a riding school or a trail riding place if they wanted to ride. At this point he realized I wasn't budging, plus my horses had walked off to the other side of the field behind a tree line so we're out of sight. So he turned back towards the car while loudly saying, "Come on girls, this mean lady doesn't think he deserved to ride the horses," which caused them to start crying as he loaded them up into the car before flipping me off and taking off down the road. The 12th birthday party ends badly because of one Pokemon card and entitled parents. By user low question 9784. Disclaimer: I don't support AI work, never will. I was having my 12th birthday party. I invited my friends over to my house to celebrate and have a party. But it was hitting that downtime after the cake and presents were done. I was so excited about the new Pokemon cards I just got. But I made the mistake of bringing my collection of Pokemon card binders out to put the new ones away in front of my friends. They leaned in to see the cool collection, but this one girl in particular had a habit of asking if could she have cards. At the time I just tuned her out, hoping she would get the hint and finish putting away the cards. This girl then stops me before I even get up to put away the binders, and with such confidence she announces, "I want your Ancient Mew card, give it to me. That is my prize card," and she knew it. After a few attempts to tell her no, she starts bawling to her parents. Her father and mother look at me in utter disgust of how could I deny they brought kid my prize card. My mom was one of those moms that had to look perfect and peaceful, so she gently argued and then gave me the look of give it up. I protested, but stopped, knowing the scolding of "don't embarrass me" was worse than losing my cool Pokemon card. I gave that brat kid the card and said I never want to see or talk to her again. And they left the party after that, still with that shitey look on their faces. My mom apologized to them for the inconvenience and how she understood that their kid felt left out. Thanks, Mom. All the kids from the party bullied and avoided her school the next day, stayed that way till she dropped out for homeschool after a few months. I didn't encourage this, they just chose to do it to her. Soon my mom's friend bought me a new Ancient Mew card for Christmas that same year. Trust no one or else you get robbed at your birthday party. If that's not human enough, then my full legal name is Ligmal Balls III. My address: Nina 420 Lane in Cincinnati. Look me up, I dare you, I double dog dare it.